What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since I've made an actual video. I've been incredibly busy. The last video I made was the announcement of my new MTXL. So obviously you've known before that I got a new engine and things for the 5T. I haven't been filming like I normally do. The reason being is I actually dragged my brother back into the RC hobby. It was kind of funny. Him and I used to run nitros together for years. We always ran it. He hasn't been in the hobby for probably 15 years, maybe a little less than 15, but it's been quite a while. One day, it was like in January of this year, he stopped by my house, and he was, I was doing a couple things to his car, and he had asked me, he saw my T sitting on top of my toolbox, and we started talking back and forth. Long story short, he's now back into RCs, but now he's into fifth scale like me. He started out with a DBXL, and his collection has grown. He got rid of his DBXL, but then kind of got it back. That's a long story I'm not going to go into. But he has a Losi 5B, a Losi 5T, and a HPI 5B. So we're always going out. We're having fun doing that, and we just get we're so competitive with one another that it's like if one person's going for whatever, I mean, we'll run our trucks into the ground, just to have fun. I mean, so here's the update. This is obviously it's a T. It's the body on the body's already as you can see, it's got some marks and some imperfections in it, but hey, that's part of the fun. So the update that I'm going to do with you is, like I said, this truck now has a G320 in it, and there's a couple other things that I've done. I actually decided I had to do a little maintenance in the truck, and I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to pick up the camera and to show you guys some changes I've made to the T. So the first thing I had to do were my wheel bearings were shot. My right rear actually locked and actually melted out my knuckle. So as you can hear, let's see if I can. The bearings are completely shot. So the bearings I put in were Team Fast Eddie bearings. I did that. Also, it was kind of ironic. It's like I think my T and my brother's T are linked to each other, because we were running last Saturday, and all of a sudden he said he was done. His throttle linkage snapped. So I went home. Well, after we were done, we went home. We got our other trucks and ran those. I went home the next day. I fired my truck up, and my throttle linkage was broken. I don't know, but so he did a little update of things that I've done, things that I've changed since I've gotten the truck, and since obviously you know I changed the body on it. So for starters, the wheels are now the 5T. They're still 5T wheels, but they're in black. I kind of ties with everything. I was running Proline trenchers. I took the trenchers off, and now I'm running the Hostiles on it. These tires were on the SC. I don't know, for whatever reason, the trenchers were giving me a little bit too much bite. I've been running trenches on this before, so I tried the Hostiles. So we'll go from there. I am now running the Losi. They look gold. Losi says these are the orange springs, but truth be told, to me, if you ask me or a lot of people, that's copper. I'm sorry, these springs are copper. The spring rate is actually 14.7 pounds in the front, and I believe they're 10.5 or 10.6 in the back. Now that I've added more weight to the truck, I think for what I have, I think these are a little bit too heavy for the front. I probably should have went with the red springs, but you know, whatever, I make them work. So they seem to be okay. For racing, it wouldn't really be a good setup for racing. For bashing, when you're really airing this truck out, they're good. But for racing, negative. I'm not a big fan. But I don't really race this truck much. I primarily bash it with my brother and another one of my friends. Obviously, you know, I have the braces in the truck. Another update, which I think is very necessary, is I have Full Force RC high flow fuel lines. Right in here, they are the actual brass fittings that go down into the tank. Basically, over time, with all the fuel, ethanol, and things in the line, these lines actually swell. The problem with the lines that go to the grommet is what happens is the lines start to swell inside this rubber grommet, and it actually starts restricting, and it can actually really restrict your flow. So keep that in mind. It's possible. So whether or not you're going to run a high performance engine or not, me personally, I do recommend changing out to those full force fuel lines. They definitely now what they do is, you know, obviously I just ran them on both sides, you know, but that was just me. I think these lines work pretty good. You know, I haven't had a problem with them yet, and I've been running them for quite a bit now. I changed to the Turtle Racing air filter. And it uses the HPI Baja filter, and it relocates it to the front of the engine, so it's actually right in line with all the air. The reason why I went for the one with the Baja is actually the HPI Baja stock filter actually filters much better than the stock Losi 5T filter. It actually does a really good job. Obviously, you know the engine, Zenoa G320. And it's kind of funny. The pull start on here, my brother actually nicknamed this truck the PSK, the pull start killer. I was destroying pull starts. I don't know if you guys had the same problem with this engine. Maybe it was just me, but I was breaking cogs. Literally breaking rope. I would go to start it, and now maybe it could have been because I was primarily running this truck when it was cold. So to solve that, if this didn't work, I was going to have to go with the Turtle Racing pull start. But I'm sorry, maybe it's just me. You know, I try to make do with what I have. If I don't have to spend a fortune, I'd rather not. But me personally, I could not see spending $130 on a pull start. Granted, it's probably one of the best pull starts you can get. Me personally, I couldn't see spending that kind of money. So I actually went with a Killer RC pull start. It actually is fitted with the Killer cable, which actually this is really good stuff. And then I actually opted, while on DDM, I also got their metal cog. So far, I have not had a single problem after doing that. What else have I done to this truck? What else have I done? Oh, I am also hello. I am also running Servos servos in this truck. And also, I'm not going to pull the battery box out, but I am also running inside here is the a Losi, I think it's a 5600 milliamp lipo pack, 2S lipo pack. Big difference in tunability with the lipo versus the stock nickel metal hydride. I mean, it wakes the servos up. The speed, the strength, everything. It's so much better. So, I know I've said this before, but I'm going to try to get some video of this truck running, and I'm going to try I would love to get a video, because in all my videos that I put up, it's normally just of my trucks running. I've never done it like with a bunch of us running. Like I said, my brother and I are very competitive. Oh, and another thing I've changed before I forget is you can't see it because of the cover. I actually opted. There's a vertical clutch bell in here with the larger hex. Originally, I was running the 22 tooth pinion with it. I actually changed it back to a 20, and there's a reason for that, and I'll explain. With the 22 tooth, the truck is actually pretty fast. We GPS'd it. It was at 44 or 43. 44.1 miles an hour. No, sorry, 43. I apologize. 43.1 miles an hour on the 22 tooth pinion. The problem with here's the thing, the way I drive my T is I love to be able to come out of a corner, and this it's not my speed runner. My Baja is my speed runner. So I actually dropped it back down to a 20. I only lost 2.5 miles an hour. It was actually a little less, almost 3, depending on the day. It was like 2 days after. So I'd say maybe it's anywhere between a 4 to 2 mile an hour difference from the 22 to the 20. But the truck is a lot snappier out of the hole, and that's what I was looking for. My brother's T also runs a G320, but he's actually running the G320 full mod. He is also running the larger victory pipe for the G320. I'm just running the victory big bore. I actually talked to DDM a while ago, before I even purchased his engine, and they said that the stock victory big bore, will work fine on it. After running our trucks side by side, again, he has a 32 full mod, I have a 32. He has a pipe for a G320, I just have a big bore. Our trucks are pretty much equal. He can actually it seems like he goes into the power band much faster than I do, but I'm also running larger tires than he is. So it's we're both running the same gearing. Ultimately, it's actually really fun to have the two different style trucks, which are similar but different at the same time. Again, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to try my best, but I'm going to try to start putting up more videos, and things like that. But on a different note, I never actually said anything. I never mentioned it, because it hurt me, and I was really upset, and I was bothered by it. The day that I released the video of me getting my Losi MTXL, the very next day, my brother and I actually went and ran our trucks. And we shouldn't have ran our trucks that day. It was like 10 or 20 degrees outside. Long story short, I had my big heavy jacket on. I had my hood up. I had no peripheral vision. We were running the B versus the T, yada yada yada, the Losi 5B versus the Losi 5T, and we decided that we're gonna run the DBXL and my Baja 5SC. Long story short, I came off a jump out. We were on the beach. I landed it, and I couldn't see and I ended up smashing my HPI into a pole at full speed. Needless to say, the truck, I guess you can say, was totaled, because everything from the frame, from the bulkhead back, was just destroyed. Actually, I'll put you guys down for 1 second. Stay. So just to give you guys an idea, I saved everything. This, minus the wheelie bar in here, this whole bag is all the parts that were destroyed with my HPI Baja SC. So literally, the frame, the bulkhead, the bumper, the shock braces, everything was completely destroyed. Just to give you guys an idea, yeah, that kickup's not supposed to be that high. But everything is repaired, everything is done, the truck's all back together. And actually, I made it a mission to, because not everybody who runs these trucks can get very expensive very fast. Anybody who owns these things know what I'm talking about. I mean, some people have one, maybe two. Some people only have one, and that's just fine. But at the time, I guess I have three of them. Three of them are expensive to take care of. So I tried to see if I could fix my Baja on the cheap. I used all genuine HPI parts. I didn't want to go to Roven if I didn't have to. Because I had run a Roven bumper on the truck and it actually broke easy. But again, it was in the cold, so I can't really say anything negative about it. But I fixed the whole truck with genuine HPI parts. The frame I actually found on eBay. The guy was selling it new. So frame, everything on the truck I repaired for under $180 shipped. And I repaired the entire truck, which I thought was a bargain. But with that said, this was my update video of my Losi 5T. So just so you know that the engine is in, the truck is running really strong. I also have a new item. You can kind of see it just in the back of me. So I will be doing a video on that next. But with that said, I'll see y'all later. Hopefully, the next video of my T will be, oh, and before I forget, when I change the throttle linkage, let's see if I can get down there and you guys can see it. Oh, right here. I actually just opted to do the quick change throttle linkage, and that was all set. Oh, and top tip: if you run the Turtle Racing air filter that actually relocates the filter to the front of the engine, for the love of God, please do not make the mistake that I do and try to do a tune on your truck without the body. Because I made the mistake of running a tune on it to start the tune, and why I took the body off the tune of the T is I have no idea, for the simple reason you can access it right to the body. I don't know. But the truck rolled over, very light rollover, and when it rolled, hit the air filter, done. I actually, I broke the isolator block on the carb, and I actually broke the fuel in, the main fuel pickup on the carb. I snapped it right off the carb. But it's almost like DDM knew I was going to do it, because at that point of the day, it was the deal of the day. They knew I was going to need a carb. So, all right, guys. With that said, I'll see y'all later. Next video soon to come. Later, guys.